what they really meant. But amending the Constitution is a very laborious process. It's done rarely, and in today's climate, I'm not so sure you could get 3/4 of the states to ratify it. And I don't think in today's climate you're going to get 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate to propose it. The Democrats certainly aren't going to propose it. The other thing that is available, though,
So
yeah.
Are you saying we're stuck with this?
I'm not done yet. I'm getting close.
Are you getting close to the good
Look,
news?
are you stuck with Roe versus Wade? Are you stuck with Obergefell, the same-sex marriage case?
For a while.
But the difference between those cases and this is that the 14th Amendment has a provision called Section 5. Section 5 of the 14th Amendment gives Congress the power to pass laws to enforce and to make more clear what was intended by the preceding language of the 14th Amendment. Back then, the Congress really wanted to expand its power to deal with the aftermath of the Civil War and the aftermath of slavery. They were not intended by the 14th Amendment to give power to the Supreme Court. It was the Congress that wanted the power to set the new rules. And they provided in both the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment and the 15th Amendment, which gave, in a way, it gave blacks the right to vote. That's a bit of an overstatement, but dealt with the political issues. Gave Congress the power to pass legislation to define what the 14th Amendment means. And I believe, and many believe, that Congress has that power to define what is meant by the phrase and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And they certainly can, yes, sir.
You think you've got 2/3 of Congress that even understands what you explained here tonight?
Well, I don't know about that. None of the guys debating in the first debate really told you what I said tonight. But what I do know is that if we have a majority of Congress who's willing to deal with this issue and a president who's sympathetic to it, it can be done.
Well, that's certainly not the case now.
Under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment. We don't have to rely upon the Supreme Court changing its mind, which I don't think is going to happen, without replacing at least 2 more justices. So, let me, give me just 1 second. I've sort of skipped ahead. So let me take one more question, then I want to give you a little talk about my book. Go ahead.
Say in the perfect world that Congress enacts this.
Yeah.
Say that defining what was meant in the 14th Amendment, and
Yeah.
we have a president that doesn't veto it, and everything happens.
Right.
Then what would happen to all these people that think they're citizens?
It's an interesting question whether they can make it retroactive. I know, I saw a case just recently where there was a county clerk in one of the western states that refused to issue a birth certificate to a child born to an illegal alien. And I think a lawsuit was brought against the clerk to force the issuance of that certificate. So that's one way it could work its way up into the system. Whether you could declare that children who were born last year in the United States are not U.S. citizens, first of all, I don't think Congress would do it. And I'd be okay with that. Let's get it right going forward to stop the